Hi, welcome back to Focal Point AFR Talk. An update, another piece of the IRS puzzle. Remember, they're going to be in charge of enforcing Obamacare. We've already discovered that they stole 60 million medical records, stole them, had absolutely no right to them, had nothing to do with the tax issue that they were investigating. They just stole the health records of 10 million Americans, most of them in California, many of them elected officials and judges. So I've already seen the IRS cannot be trusted as far as you can kick them across the room. Now they're going to be in charge, as we've seen, of all of the penalties under Obamacare. We're going to have to provide a new tax form. Everybody in the country is going to have to fill out a new tax form starting next January, telling the IRS how much money you're going to make in 2014, so they'll know whether you are eligible for subsidies or not. Now, there's a big IRS union, the National Treasury Employees Union. These are just people that work for the IRS. They're the ones that are going to be responsible to enforce Obamacare. You know what? They want out. The same people that are going to come after you and me and throw us in prison if they think they've got a case against us for avoiding our tax responsibilities. They want out of Obamacare themselves. They've started a lobbying effort to get out of the exchanges. This is a piece from FreedomWorks, the National Treasury Employees Union, which represents the IRS employees who harassed and delayed Tea Party and conservative groups, and, I might add, will be in charge of all the penalties under Obamacare, has come out against the proposal to put federal workers into exchange-based health insurance. So fancy that. The people in charge of deciding whether you go into an exchange and who decided it doesn't matter whether your state doesn't want one, don't want to be in one themselves. Remember, everybody's going to have to get their insurance through one of these exchanges. And the IRS says, hey, that's fine if you want us to go after people that are the poor suckers that are stuck in those health exchanges, but leave us out of that deal together. Now, you've probably seen some of the footage from Oklahoma, the disaster there, the tornado. You know, and Wolf Blitzer, this is kind of interesting, clip 3. Wolf Blitzer was so used to people talking about God, thanking God for what had happened, talking about their faith in Jesus Christ, about their gratitude to God for sparing their lives, that he's interviewing this woman, and he just expects that she's going to be like everybody else. So it led to this exchange. Let's listen.
All right, well, you're blessed. Yeah. Brian, your husband, is blessed.
Brian.
Anders is blessed.
Brian.
Yeah, Brian. You like Brian, huh? That's your dad. Well, we're happy you're here. You guys did a great job. Yeah. And I guess you got to thank the Lord, right?
Yeah.
Do you thank the Lord for that split-second decision?
I'm actually an atheist.
Oh, you are? All right, don't thank the Lord. But you made the right call.
Yeah. We are here, and you know, I don't blame anybody for thanking the Lord.
Of course not.
So.
You know, somebody's once said that the tragedy of being an atheist is that when you see a beautiful sunset, you have no one to thank. And that's exactly the situation this woman is. Here she has been saved. Her family has been saved from death, from termination, and she has nobody to thank. Now, there were a couple of answers to prayer. This is clip number 4. The first one, you may have seen this. This is an older woman who had a little dog. She was talking about sitting on the stool in the bathroom was where she went with her dog in her lap to be protected from this tornado. And the stool was lifted completely up out of the floor, house just destroyed. I mean, she's standing in the middle of just this pile of rubble where her house used to be. She pointed to the place where she was when she was able to work her way out of the rubble. And you'll hear her at the beginning of this clip talk about the fact that she's called for her dog. She doesn't know where her dog is. Her dog is gone. Now, she's an older woman, probably in her 80s, you know, and Debbie's mom lived with us for the last 20 years of her life. She died at like 98 and almost 99. And I know for all of that time, all 20 years, she had a small little dog that was her companion. Spent all day in her lap. She took it for walks. That dog was never more than 2 feet away from her side, spent most of her time sitting right in her lap. And I know how much that meant to Doris to have that little companion. So I know that this woman was masking what had to be the true emotions in her heart. But if you listen carefully, you will hear how the story turned out. And then the next montage is of a school teacher, and it's amazing to me. She's going to admit that she did something, in this tornado, in this crisis, but she's almost embarrassed to admit it. And you have to ask yourself, good grief, this is the United States of America. Look what we've done, where a school teacher who does a perfectly correct thing has to feel guilty about it and apologetic for it on national TV. Let's listen. Here's the woman.
And I hollered for my little dog, and he didn't answer or didn't come, so I know he's in here somewhere.
The dog. The dog. Hi, puppy. The dog.
Oh, Rousey. Oh, Rousey, bless your little bitty heart. Help me.
Help Megan.
Oh, well, I thought God just answered one prayer to let me be okay. He answered both of them.
And I remember the little voice saying, I love you, Miss Crosswhite. Please don't let me die with you. I'm like, we're not dying. We are not dying today. Quit saying that. And I did the teacher thing that we're probably not supposed to do. I prayed. And I prayed out loud. What did you say? I said, God, please don't take these kids today.
You know, it's amazing to me that she felt like she might get in trouble for admitting in America, the United States of America, our first freedom is the free exercise of religion. She was apologetic and hesitant to talk about the fact that she prayed out loud, afraid she's going to lose her job, get in trouble, get thrown into jail. I mean, this is not the United States of America the founders created. Well, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Clarence in Lafayette, Louisiana. 888-589-8840, by the way, 888-589-8840. Clarence, welcome to Focal Point. What's on your mind?
Thank you. Thank you, Brian. The terrorists and the wacko cases are getting a lot smarter. They're knowing they don't have to kill themselves, that they do their mayhem, and then they get the red carpet rolled out for them, taxpayer dollars. So if someone were to come around here shooting up me and my family, my friends, my policemen, my buddies, military, comrades, then I'm going to finish the job right there. In other words, that'll end the case. So that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah. All right. Well, very good. Well, thank you for that. Appreciate the call. You know, and that's, that ability to protect ourselves, protect our families. I mean, that's what the founders, that's the whole reason we've got the Second Amendment, so we can do that for the people that we love and care for. Let's go to Buddy in Houston, Texas. Buddy, welcome to Focal Point. What's on your mind? Thanks for calling. Thanks for waiting.
Hey, Brian. Good to hear your voice, and God bless you for your ministry.
Thank you, and God bless you, my friend. What's on your mind?
Thank you, sir. I keep thinking about the Second Amendment to the Constitution and the reason for us to bear, the people to bear arms. All my life I used to think it was about, protecting your property and, people hurting your family. But now my eyes have been opened by this radical government that we have, and especially this SS group that Obama has, this Homeland Security.
Isn't that something that they were the ones. That's the thing. That's the thing, buddy. They were the ones. It was Department of Homeland Security that was out there armed to the teeth yesterday to watch the Tea Partiers protest the IRS, not local police.
Well, that's part of my comment, Brian. I think it's time for people like me. I'm 71. I'm a Vietnam veteran, and I know there's a lot of veterans that join with me in our feelings. All the Iraq and Afghanistan veterans, I feel like even though the younger generation voted Obama in, with all the atrocities going on in our public government and all, I think it's time for us to purge the government as included in the Constitution for the reason for bearing arms. And with the advent of the Homeland Security, that just dots the I and crosses the T and guarantees why we need our arms.
Well, and we've talked.
They're going to do violence against all of the people. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah. Well, listen, I appreciate the call, buddy. And, the way this is designed to work according to the Constitution is, remember the wording of the Second Amendment. The founders said a well-regulated militia being necessary for the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms, shall not be infringed. In other words, that was a protection for the individual states against tyranny, against invasion from another state, but also against the tyranny of the federal government they had just created. We are not going to allow. This is a right that belongs to the people. This is not a right of the states. It's not a right of the federal government. Remember, there are three powers of action. Three groups can have powers of action under the Constitution. Federal government can have powers of action. Those are described in Article 1, Section 8. The states can have powers of action. According to Article 10, any right that's not assigned to the federal government and the Constitution belongs to the state or to the people. You have some rights that are so foundational, so profound, so fundamental that the founder said these are rights that belong to the people. That means no city can take these rights away. No county can take these rights away. No state government can take these rights away. And one of those rights is the right of the people to keep and bear arms. That's a right that belongs to the people, doesn't belong to the state, doesn't belong to the federal government. And the reason is to be able to protect against tyranny. Now, we're not going to have time to play this soundbite. I got Bill Maher. I want you to, we'll play the soundbite coming out on the other side. It's clip 29, Rob, if you can find that. But Bill Maher talking about the Second Amendment and just poo-pooing this whole idea. But I have read to you that quote a number of times from Thomas Jefferson, that the ultimate reason for the American people to be armed is as a protection against tyranny. Now, the way this is supposed to work, according to the founders, to finish my thought on that, is that a well-regulated militia means a militia that is operating under the direction of the political leadership of the individual states. Now, here's where I may have a difference with a number of people even in this listening audience. Militias were not standalone things that kind of grew out of the soil, at least not according to the founders. They didn't say those were bad. They just said that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a militia that consists of people in an individual state who are armed, who come together under the leadership of that state to protect their liberties against federal intrusion. Focal Point, AFR Talk.